sitting down a snowy laneway podcast.
The decline of Billabong. Australia once had a heaps big surfing culture. When I was a kid, everyone dreamed of surfing for a job, being paid to surf through sponsorships by surf brands like Billabong. We all wore Billabong clothes, hats, wetsuits, thongs. Thongs in Australia mean flip-flops. But I suppose people wore Billabong thongs too. Every shopping centre would have at least one surf shop. Relatively expensive prices, but with apparel to appeal to most kids' need to fit in. Living along the coast, near the beach for so long, was why brands like Billabong sprung up, filling the need for a common flag to unite surfers and beachgoers alike. Speaking of going to the beach, this is old footage of me wearing my favourite blue Billabong t-shirt. How cool I thought I was. If you look online, you can kind of find this t-shirt, listed under retro design. I feel old. When Billabong was young, it was established in 1973, taking its name from an Aborigine word meaning swamp. Created by Gordo and Renee Merchant on the Gold Coast in Queensland, initially designing and making boards at his home, business soon boomed out to local surf shops. The merchants also branched out into making shorts that were a cut above the rest, with triple stitching. So after boards and then board shorts, the third part of what will become the Billabong business model was achieved, sponsoring surf contests. And thus, publicity propelled Billabong into the surfing culture of Queensland. And then all of Australia by the 80s. The swell was good, yet Billabong reached its peak at the turn of the century, when it had overdeveloped in foreign markets. A huge store in Times Square, New York, comes to mind, but ignored its Australian home base. Acquiring US companies that weren't that profitable eventually led Billabong halting trade on the stock market and closing over 150 shops. It had overexpanded and forgot its core customer. Losing money and influence left, right and centre, Billabong pulled back on apparel, surfboards, and surfboard riders' sponsorship contracts. Now the dreams and aspiration of kids wanting to make a career out of surfing was lost in the whitewash. Heaps of good pro surfers lost their sponsorships and had to get normal jobs out of the water. And Billabong has been regulated to the back dark corner of stores. But I'll still wear Billabong t-shirts, now for nostalgia rather than dreams of the future. I do it to have a connection with my teenage self. But once I go, who will be buying and wearing Billabong retro design t-shirts? I think the sun is setting on Billabong, and I just hope it doesn't drown too deep.
Well, wasn't that interesting? It's a funny old world, full of snow and laneways. Comment down below or up above. I don't know how it works.